Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. Formula 1 is just round the corner. A host of racing series are already underway and the rest follow on pretty quickly after. So we can start rounding up all the action from the previous week once again, with a load of motorsport from the past weekend to look back on, including the World Rally Championship from Sweden, the New Zealand Grand Prix, and the end of the Formula Regional Oceania series, the end of Formula Regional Middle East, Bathurst 12 Hours, and the Daytona 500. We've already talked about Extreme E, so check out my thoughts on that. Then subscribe to the channel and let's jump into the video. Let's start with the World Rally Championship from Sweden, a very snowy Sweden. It looked like a lot of fun. Our usual depleted field of Rally 1 entries led the way, but almost all of them ran into some kind of trouble at some point over the course of the weekend. Kalle Rovanperä returned for his first run as a part-time entry and looked great, dominating day one. He then crashed out on day two. Takamoto Katsuta was also in top form this weekend and was challenging for the lead when he had to retire after hitting a bank. Gregoire Munster went off a couple of times over the course of the weekend and Ott Tanak crashed into a snowbank. That left just 4 Rally 1 cars leading away at the front. Some controversy between Thierry Neuville and Elfyn Evans. Neuville had a fuel pressure problem and couldn't take the road sweeping lead, leaving it to Evans, who lost time, and the Welshman was not happy. No evidence of foul play from Hyundai, but if the title fight is between these two, then it looks like fireworks could be coming throughout the season. They couldn't stop Esa-Pekka Lappi from taking his first win in over 6 years. It was 6.5 years ago he won in Finland. Great result for him and for Adrian Formal, who has started the year like a new man. 2 good results, one of which is his first ever podium. Not bad for a guy who was crashing into someone's garden a couple of years ago. Evans was second and Neuville fourth. The Belgian is leading Evans, but it's close so far. They are pulling away from everyone else. Oliver Solberg managed to finish 5th and take the WRC2 win, and he is going to be a top challenger for that. Give that man a top class drive ASAP, please. Entertaining stuff from Sweden as always. Not enough competitive cars taking part these days, but it was still an interesting event, and Neuville versus Evans could be the rivalry of the year. Formula Regional Oceania came to an end for 2024 with the New Zealand Grand Prix. It was a quiet weekend. Roman Belinsky was brilliant, a driver I completely slept on. He had been incredibly average everywhere he had been before this, and all of a sudden, he's the next Robert Kubica. The new champion had it all pretty much tied up after race 1, even after Liam Skeets took the win. Talking of Liam Skeets, remember when I said this just over a month ago? But I'll go for a shock win for Liam Skeets in the New Zealand Grand Prix race. It's usually won by a Kiwi, or someone who's Dutch, and with no Dutch drivers, Liam Skeets was decent in the series in 2023, and I imagine he'll be there or thereabouts in 2024. That was one hell of a prediction in hindsight, so very rare for me. I'd better get a lottery ticket. Great drive from Liam Skeets, really deserved the win after finishing second overall, and it'll be interesting to see what he does for the rest of 2024. Roman Belinsky ended the year climbing over Bryce Aaron, so he starts his reign as champion with a bang. New Zealand is always a brilliant way to start the year, one of the best junior categories out there. Formula Regional Middle East is another junior series that came to an end, and the Tiger Tuukka Tuppinen really stood out as a future star. He has dominated this series, even beating Formula 2 driver Taylor Barnard. Everyone paled in comparison to the Finn, who ended up winning the championship by nearly 80 points. We will see more of him in Formula Regional Europe in 2024. I'll talk more about who impressed and who disappointed in another video later this week in both this and Formula Regional Oceania, but I'll guarantee Tarpanen will be in that series. And as a spoiler, so will Ugo Ugachukwu. The top 3 shared most of the wins in the championship, and they were the 3 that definitely stood out, but Rafael Kamara did have the odd poor moment, and was never really in title contention here. We're going to see these drivers spread out between Formula 2, Formula 3 and Formula Regional European, so all of those series are must-watches. The quality of racing on show at the Bathurst 12-hour race was exceptional. We didn't get a safety car for the first 3 hours, and that was just for a car spinning on its own. The quality and talent on show in the first round of the Intercontinental GT Championship was very high. It was 5 hours in when Charles Wirtz did his impression of Tony Hawk's and grinded his BMW along the wall, doing major damage and ending their race. The race was complicated by a brief rain shower, but by this point the Porsche of Matt Campbell, Lawrence Van Tor, Ian Chan Guven had led the majority of the race, but they had been hit with penalties and dropped back. leaving one of the other Porsches in the lead. The rain came and went and came back again, causing a little chaos, but the field handled the changing conditions very well. In the end, Campbell, Vanthoor and Guven took the win, Matt Campbell second in the Bathurst 12 Hour, and not long after he won the Daytona 24 Hours for Porsche as well. 2024 is going very nicely so far for Matt Campbell. The race was very entertaining, with plenty of curveballs, especially with the weather, a very enjoyable way to spend 12 hours. Finally, NASCAR and the Daytona 500 did not get off to a great start. Rain delayed the race until Monday. Once it did get going, there was a big crash at the start, but the first two stages were pretty quiet for NASCAR. Champion Ryan Blaney took the second stage, but would not win the race. The race ended with a couple of very large crashes. Most of the field were taken out in the first, and some of the leaders in the second. That left William Byron to win his first Daytona 500. It was your usual NASCAR fare, and no Shane Van Gisbergen, who was racing in the ARCA and Xfinity series, finishing 12th in the latter but getting taken out in a mass crash in the former. NASCAR is NASCAR and will continue to be NASCAR for the foreseeable future. So that was all the action from the past weekend. I don't think there's too much on this weekend, but I might do a roundup if anything interesting comes to mind. The week after though sees the start of Formula 1, 2 and 3, NASCAR, World Rally Raid, World Endurance Championship and possibly more. If there is anything you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Leave your thoughts on the past weekend down below as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching and have a good one.